Hey guys, Joe Madden here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm joined this afternoon by Greg Peterson. You can find him on VSiN Live for the Greg Peterson experience of betting the brackets and coast to coast hoops. Greg, how's your day treating you?
Joe, I am doing great, and I hope you are as well. I know that it has been a busy one for you, so glad to be a part of it. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you here on the show today. And it has been a busy one, but I'm doing exactly what I love talking to people in this industry, talking sports, talking betting. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, it absolutely is. And it's just so good that we've got just so much growth with regards to the industry, even just in the last 6, 12 months. So it is terrific and glad to be joining you today.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about you. How did you get into this industry?
Well, I wound up going to college out there in a D3 university in the great state of Wisconsin called UW Oshkosh and knew that I wanted to work in sports. And I actually did wind up placing my first bet while I was in college. I was actually going to school and I thought, man, my school is playing this D1 college in football, South Dakota State, UW Oshkosh. I wonder where they wound up putting the betting line on this because I didn't think that UW Oshkosh, a D3 university, was actually going to knock off a D1 school. But to my surprise, they disrespected my university so much that they put them as a 45-point underdog. I was thinking, man,
Wow.
maybe I should get down $50 on this game, try to be able to make a little bit of coin. I go to place a bet, and this was way back in the 5 dimes era, by the way. So that shows you how long ago that was. But that said, I go to place a bet, and it's like, oh, the number has moved. You're now getting 46.5 points instead of 45. And I'm like, okay, we're going to put it down. Never was in doubt. UW Oshkosh loses 38-3. So they gave up fewer points than the point spread. So we were able to get that in and wound up working for a few different entities in the sports world for a few years, bounced around in Nashville, Tennessee for a year, Portland, Oregon for a year. And I mean, for those that know the industry, they know that when you're starting out, there's not necessarily a lot of money in it. So I would do a little bit of betting on the side, be able to help just pay off the necessities, be able to get a little bit of extra money for rent, have a little bit more of a cushion. And then while I was working in Portland, Oregon in 2017, I had someone that I used to work with give me a call saying, hey, you know what? There is a full-time opportunity in Las Vegas, Nevada. Probably going to need to grab some sunscreen, but it could help you out a little bit. And I thought, sure, why not? Because I knew that sports gambling was growing. This was a little bit before PASPA in 2017. As we know, that wound up getting passed here in the United States in 2018. And I figured, you know what? Growing industry, let's give it a shot. That would actually be the Vegas Stats and Information Network. And got down here in Las Vegas in 2017. So we're almost coming up on a 5-year anniversary. And you know what? I've been here ever since. I actually started off air because I was brought in as a little bit more of a producer, someone that helped behind the scenes. And I had one of my good friends that I was working with on one of the shows say, hey, you know what? You do a lot with college basketball. You don't stop talking about it. You should post up a couple picks. That person is someone that you know very well. Matt Humans of the Vegas Stats and Information Network has been in the industry for a very long
Wow.
time. So I started posting up some pics and grew a little bit with regards to a following, made some appearances on some shows, just wound up getting in touch with some good people in the industry in general. And things have just snowballed from there. My role went a little bit more from off air because of everything that I was doing to more on air. And here we are today.
I love it. We're seeing the love come in the comments here for you as well from Vasu Vada Party, shouting you out, saying that he loves what you're doing as well. I been listening to your shows. You have great content. You are dominating in this space. What do you enjoy most about it?
I just enjoy the good people out there because you'll always get like those one or two trolls on Twitter. They're like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. I put my mortgage down on the under in this game and it went over in like inning number 15 or something like that. And you're always going to wind up getting those. But you just know in the back of your mind that for every one or two mean people, there's like 40 plus good people out there that they appreciate what you're putting out there. There are a lot of people that they will voice as well that they think that you're doing a good job. They always try to be as polite as possible. They always try to chime in a good way as well. And I think that winds up getting forgotten about because I feel like in this day and age, we always want to point at the bad when in reality, there's still a whole lot of good out there as well. And I just love exactly what I do. You mentioned it at the top that you do exactly what you've always wanted to be working in sports, be just dealing with good people in general. And I feel the exact same way.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And always remember, you guys, the haters speak louder than the people that love you. So take it with a grain of salt. But the haters are also the biggest fans. So it's another thing to not forget. They're watching everything that we do. Now, let's look at MLB for tonight. Which game are you looking at?
I wound up writing this up for DK Nation. I'm looking at the Royals versus the Diamondbacks game, and number as far as I've seen is still what I wound up writing up. That would be the under in this game. Zach Allen goes for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and John Easley going to be going for the Kansas City Royals. And with the Diamondbacks, they've got the lowest batting average out there in the National League. They've been doing some mashing with regards to home runs. Christian Walker, Dalton Varsho, they've been able to do a good job of going yard. Walker now at a double-digit amount of home runs, but still a Diamondbacks team that's not doing a great job of getting on base. And John Easley at the minor league level, because this is going to be just his third major league start of the season. Not great, not terrible, but the guy on the other side should be able to really do some damage with regards to this under and be able to keep it under. That'd be Zach Allen. He's given up 2 runs or fewer at every one of his starts this year. And the real X factor for Zach Allen has been he's been able to go deeper into games. Last year, he wasn't able to do quite that because he was giving up 3.6 walks per 9 innings. That has been slashed in half. As a result, he is giving you 6+ innings in 4 out of his last 5 starts. It's a Diamondbacks bullpen that we're going to say not necessarily the world's greatest, but when you wind up getting that length out of Gallen, and Gallen, in my opinion, has had a little bit of value with regards to his Cy Young odds. I don't know if he winds up being able to hang around there all season long, but prior to his last start, you were still able to get him north of 25-1, which I think is pretty insane with the way that this guy's been pitching this year. I think that he's going to be able to do a good job, but once again, against a Royals team that they're in the bottom 10 of the big leagues in terms of home runs. They're in the bottom 8 in terms of total runs per game. So I like under 8.5 in the Diamondbacks and Royals game.
Yeah, Zach Allen coming in here with a 1.14 ERA on the season and his 39.1 innings pitched. Definitely can see him having a strong one here against the Royals. I like it. Any thoughts on if the Diamondbacks could take it on the run line, or because you're sticking with the under, are you looking for just to stay off the total here?
I'd be looking at a run line, if anything else, just because with the Arizona Diamondbacks, it's a money line price that's gotten very, very juicy. We're seeing it in a lot of spots right around -$2. And I would need to get at least 20 more cents to even begin to consider the Royals, just because it is a case in which the Royals just have not been great on offense. And on top of that, you need to take a look at the catching spot in general with regards to Royals. It's Salvador Perez, currently on the 10-day injured list. He is their leader in home runs as well. So I don't think that they've got enough firepower to be able to get it done. And with Zach Allen going, you could easily see a game that lands like 5-1, 5-2, where you do wind up getting that under, but at the same time, you also get the run line.
Absolutely. Now, when you look at baseball, when you're betting baseball, what's your favorite way to bet it? Do you like taking these totals, or are you looking at team totals as well, or more sides?
I do a little bit of both. I am more of a just general totals guy. I don't do as many team totals just because you do wind up lending yourself a little bit of forgiveness if you do wind up getting the crazy ghost runner that winds up happening in extra innings, which that throws a big giant loop into things. And that's my least favorite thing about baseball right now. You wind up taking it under, and then all of a sudden you get 6 runs in the 10th inning when it was like 3-3 going in, and your under looked absolutely tremendous. But I always take a look at a total, and then with regards to sides, I'm willing to take a couple money lines. I'll typically, if I like a big favorite, reduce the juice, go with the run line, laying 1.5, rather than laying like a -180, -190. I'll try to reduce that down, and we've been able to find on a lot of these like -180, -190 sort of numbers with the low scoring nature of this season. You're able to get that typically right around an even money with the home team. On a road team, it'll become a much smaller juice, like -115-ish, -120-ish in some extreme cases sort of price. So I do take a look at a lot of sides. I do take a look at a lot of totals. I typically like to just wind up going with one total that I really like for a game, and then just whether it be money line, run line, and I'll sometimes take a run and a half. It's very rare. Look to that direction with regards to baseball as well.
Okay, I like it. Now we have NBA playoffs tonight, NHL playoffs as well. Are you looking at any of these games tonight?
I'm going to be very intrigued to see if the Warriors are going to be able to close it out against the Dallas Mavericks. And I've been high on the Warriors all season long. And this is a case in which I don't think that you can go against the Warriors in this spot. I mean, look at Doncic. He's doing everything that he can. He wound up scoring 40 points. And I'm not much of a player prop guy, but I mean, even with Luka Doncic and the way that his player props have been just hiked up a little bit more, if anything, with regards to a Mavericks play, I would be taking a look at the over just because he's the only guy that's doing anything right now for the Mavericks. We saw Reggie Bullock go 0 of 10 from 3-point range in that previous game. You've just got absolutely nobody who's going to get stuck out of neutral right now. I'm seeing it a lot of spots. Luka at like 34.5, and I think he winds up going over, even though I think that the team winds up losing. I'd be looking, if anything, at Warriors, but with regards to NBA, I'm a little bit more of an in-game better just because when it comes to the NBA, you get those volatile runs. It feels like in almost every game, aside from what we wound up seeing yesterday between the Heat and the Boston Celtics, where it was just over before it wound up starting, that typically you're going to find a lot of ebbs and flows. You're going to find that the team that you bet on is going to be both up and down by 10 points sometime during the game. So I always like that to be able to get a little bit of a better number. But that said, I think that the Warriors close it out tonight.
What do you think the best strategy is for live betting? Are you taking your team that you thought was going to win for the whole game when they get behind? Or are you taking them as you see them progressing the way that you expected them to?
I think that you should have a little bit of a blank canvas. I think that you want to have something in mind, a team that you're more likely to bet on than not. But just because the team that you like winds up getting down by, like, say, 5-6 points in the first quarter doesn't mean auto fire on them, just because I think that context is so key. And that is the big advantage of betting in game. If you wind up seeing something that you don't like, you don't need to lock yourself into it. Like, say that you like the Golden State Warriors, and the Warriors, they have themselves a halfway decent first half, but you're noticing that they're hitting just a bunch of fall away shots. They've gotten really lucky. And the other team, like we wound up seeing with Reggie Bullock a few nights ago, goes 0 of 10 from 3-point range. And you're thinking, man, this can't wind up lasting for forever. You don't need to keep yourself tethered to that bet. So I do think that you want to have a little bit of a plan of attack going in. This isn't just one of those cases in which you're at the bar down in beers and you're like, oh, this team's down 10. I'm going to wind up firing on them. But I do think that you should have a little bit of a plan of attack, but don't be afraid to pivot if you don't see what you like.
Okay, I love it. That is definitely some great advice for everyone out there listening. Greg, can you tell us a little bit more about the shows that you have going right now on VSiN?
Absolutely. I do the Greg Peterson Experience, which is 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time. If you're out there on the East Coast, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. That is every Saturday. And if you're out there on the East Coast, it bleeds into Sunday. During the college basketball season, I also do the Betting the Bracket show as well. This is not college basketball season, but typically towards like February, March, I'll do that every Sunday. And I'll be on the show The Look At, which is also at that same time as the Greg Peterson Experience, 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific time, every Sunday for the next few Sundays as well. And then on top of that, you mentioned the Coast to Coast Hoops podcast. We do that every single day, looking at all the offseason moves of college basketball. Going to be getting started up with some conference previews because we've got 32 conferences to break down. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I do that every day, take a look at what we're getting this offseason. And then on top of that as well, I've been doing a baseball podcast, which you're able to find on the VSiN Bets feed called The Baseball Betting Show. Nice, easy name there.
Definitely is. Okay, Greg, where can everyone also find you on socials?
At @GUnit_81 on Twitter. I am really not much of an Instagram user. For some reason, they suspended my Instagram. I have no idea why. So don't try searching for me there. That is a little bit of a mess. But that said, on Twitter, at @GUnit_81. All the podcasts, all the shows I wind up doing, every appearance I wind up making, I post it all right there.
Well, Greg, my Instagram got suspended as well. Thankfully, I had a backup one. Not sure what we did. I don't know if Instagram likes the sport betting space as much as Twitter. But you guys, if you're looking for Greg on Twitter, it is in the rolling comments below. So make sure you grab it and follow him over there and everything he has going on VSiN. Great shows, Greg. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today. It was an absolute pleasure.
Joe, had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. You guys, I will be back later with another Joe Madden Sports podcast. I'm joined by Jay Cornegay later today. Greg, thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.